Hey guys, Jonathan Geller from BGR, and I have a brand new iPhone 10 in my hands, and these are my quick thoughts on why I think this is the most amazing smartphone ever been made. So just starting with the design of the phone, it really feels like this is the phone that Apple wanted to make 10 years ago when they came out with the first iPhone. It just feels like something they've been planning and waiting when the technology and the manufacturing capabilities were right. This is just beautiful. It has an incredible stainless steel band around it. It's sandwiched by two sheets of glass. Glass that Apple says is actually the strongest glass in a mobile device ever. The most interesting thing about the phone, I think, is this area up here, which people lovingly refer to as the notch. This is where Apple really has packed a lot of the sensors into the phone that add a lot of the new features and the unique features in it, like Face ID, for instance, where it uses your face as your authentication method instead of Touch ID. And this is pretty controversial, right? Because a lot of people liked Touch ID. Touch ID was great, especially at the second generation. So kind of iPhone 6-ish, it got really, really good. What's amazing about Face ID, though, is that even though you'll find at first it doesn't quite work as quickly as Touch ID, meaning where you're putting your finger on Touch ID, the phone's unlocked. With Face ID, you take the phone, you hold it up a little bit towards your face, it unlocks. But what's so amazing about that is even though the time it takes for Face ID to unlock your phone might be a little longer, seeing as you have to raise your phone up or it has to see a little bit of your face, it actually is quicker because you don't have to continually take your phone and press it. And what do I mean by that? It means when you're using an app, like let's say 1Password that uses Face ID to unlock your phone, you're already looking at your phone when you're using that. So you actually don't even have to consciously do anything when you want to use Face ID in an app. It just works because it's already seeing your face. That's one of the coolest things about Face ID, besides it being insanely cool, meaning there's this dot projector that's putting 30,000 infrared dots on your face. Even at night works completely great. And then another IR camera to read that, and then another camera to read different parts of your face, and it puts all this together into this like millisecond response. It's stored in a secure area of your phone, so all your face images and face data don't ever leave your phone. It's like this insane James Bond, Minority Report type of thing, and it works fantastic. Face ID works great. Quick tip, if you use Face ID and you find that for some reason it's not unlocking your phone, my first habit was to hit cancel instead of typing in my passcode and to just hold my phone up, unlock it, and do it again. That's actually the wrong way to do it. What you want to do is you want to actually type in your passcode, don't hit cancel, and keep your phone where it is. And what that's going to do is over time, that's going to start to train Face ID to get to know your face even better. So maybe when you start to use Face ID, you're holding your phone directly in front of you because you think that's how it needs to be. It's not. What you'll soon discover is that it'll actually work when your phone's on a table and it can see you, or you're walking and you're holding your phone, or maybe it's from this angle today and maybe it's from that angle, or maybe you're in bed just waking up and you're squinting and looking at your phone. Those are different types of scenarios where it's going to actually start to learn your face. So Face ID has been amazing. What Face ID also enables is Emoji. Emoji, I'm sure you've seen, is where you take an emoji that Apple has Emojified and you're able to take your face and map your facial features to it. It's insanely cool. Everyone thought it was a huge gimmick, but it's actually really, really fun. There are these really cool things called Animoji Karaoke, where people are doing the Animoji to music or to movies. It's really, really cool. As far as the screen, it's been rated the best OLED on any mobile device in the world, and I completely agree with that. This screen is absolutely fantastic. It's the first OLED that makes you feel like somebody actually cared on giving you an accurate screen. Apple's LCD screens, the screens that the company uses in all the other iPhones prior to the iPhone X, prior to the iPhone 10, have all been liquid crystal displays. So those are those thin displays that you're used to your last 10, 15 years. They've been the best LCDs on any mobile device because Apple's tuned them so they're accurate in terms of the color, in terms of the brightness, the saturation, things like that, which are really important and hard to get right, and Apple's nailed it. This is their first OLED screen. Organic light emitting diode. It lets them make thinner screens, but they've always struggled with color accuracy, with viewing angles. So Apple's had a screen manufactured by Samsung, and it's the best OLED there is on a mobile device. It really is incredible, and you really need to see it to kind of appreciate it. But right now, for instance, like on my phone, I have this background which has a moon in it. Everything else is black. Well, at night, that black is black. On an iPhone, 8 Plus or iPhone 7 or any other phone, you would see like a gray there because it has a backlight behind it. With an OLED, the pixels themselves turn off. There's no actual uniform backlight. So that lets the phone have this super high contrast where blacks actually have the pixels off, and that's why they're so dark. There literally is nothing coming through on those pictures where there's a black image. So Apple's finally able to take advantage of things like that. Their panel also supports HDR and 4K, so that enables the phone to get even brighter and more contrasty, richer colors when you're watching movies that are in 4K HDR. So what else am I loving about the iPhone X? The back cameras are incredible. They're finally optically image stabilized for both of them. And what that means now is when you're using the telephoto camera, the camera to zoom into something, those images are going to be crisper, they're going to be sharper, they're going to have less motion blur, so they're not going to be as shaky looking when you take them. Really great upgrades to the camera. They also have a little bit more aperture, so let more light in, give you, again, sharper photos, let you take pictures in lower lighting environments. Great color, great accuracy, fantastic camera from my use so far. Portrait mode, fantastic on the iPhone X. There's also portrait mode now on the front-facing camera because Apple is now being able to get a depth map of your face using those infrared blasters and everything like that. So you're able to get portrait mode pictures on the front camera, which is really cool, and there's also some great effects in there as well. And this phone is fast. I mean, it's insanely fast. It's so fast, actually, that's faster than MacBook Pros from a couple of years ago. That's how amazing Apple's Silicon team has been on this, ride since 2007 or 2008, when they really started to sketch out that they wanted to make their own chips and not rely on, chip makers like, AMD or, Qualcomm or Intel. And it really shows. It's an insanely fast experience when you're using it. Apps just fly open. How about battery life? In the week and a half I've used the phone, battery life is basically going to be better than an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8. It's going to be slightly worse than an iPhone Plus model you've been used to, so like a 6S Plus or like a 7 Plus. But the battery life is really fantastic. And also because of wireless charging, I find myself putting it on a charger more, as ridiculous as it sounds. Not plugging it in and unplugging it makes it a little easier just to drop it on like a wireless charger that's on your desk or on your nightstand. One of the biggest changes on the iPhone X is the fact that there's no more home button. So no more Touch ID, no home button. How do you use the phone? It's funny because it's really ingrained as far as muscle memory. You keep thinking you want to hit the home button, but after like a day or two, I'm really happy to say that swiping up and closing the app, so literally just going into an app like this and swiping up, is one of the most intuitive, natural things as far as gestures you can do on the phone. And it's an incredible, incredible rethinking of the user interface from Apple 10 years later. It absolutely just crushes Android as far as the back button, the home button, the thing. It's butter, and you just swipe up. If you want to multitask, you can swipe through your apps, you swipe to close. It's really brilliant, and they did an incredible job here. So what do I think overall? As you know by now, I think it's the best smartphone ever made. I really do. Apple is so far ahead of their competitors in the hardware, software department. It's not even funny. It's going to take a long time for Android manufacturers to catch up with this phone. I really believe that. I think Apple is doing a really good job as far as manufacturing these. It's still about a 3 to 4 week wait if you order it from the store. You might be able to find one in stores if you get up early and locate it. So that's a tip right there if you need to buy one right away. I think this is going to be one of Apple's biggest, if not biggest sellers ever. And I'm really excited to see what they do with the iPhone X line, whatever they end up calling it. There's already rumors of an iPhone X Plus, which is a 6.5-inch display, way bigger than a 5.8-inch display. So hope you guys liked the review. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below and follow me on Instagram @Jonathan.